Classic Restos is proudly brought to you by Shannon's Insurance, Penrite Oil, Hare and Forbes Machinery House, and Pace Farm Eggs. Hello and welcome to the second episode of the 2015 Carlisle All Ford Nationals here in the United States of America. But before we go any further, please try and support the people that bring you Classic Restos. Shannon's offer us as enthusiasts just so much more. Classic bikes, cars, trucks, bundle it all together with your house and contents and receive a multi-policy discount. Call Shannon's on 134646 for a quote. Sign up for the Shannon's Club, interact with others, list your car club, find events and so much more. The Shannon's Club truly is your garage at shannons.com.au. For oil, coolants and additives, choose Penrite. They have stood the test of time. Established 1926. Australian owned, Australian made. Oil with more zinc for older style engines. No matter what the engine, no matter what the application. Contact the Penrite Technical Assistance Team 7 days a week at penriteoil.com.au. Oil right, use Penrite, simply a better class of oil. For some of the largest range of tools for all trades and DIYs, don't go past Hare and Forbes Machinery House. Established 1930, with branches around Australia and New Zealand. Their showrooms will have you browsing for hours, and no matter where you are, you can buy online at machineryhouse.com.au. From a garage jack through to a lathe, Hare and Forbes has the range. machineryhouse.com.au. There's no doubt it's great to be back, and it's even better to bring you the largest Ford family reunion in the world. On last week's episode of Classic Restos, showcasing the amazing 2015 Carlisle All Ford Nationals, we spoke to Hank from the AACA Museum in Hershey, Pennsylvania, about an incredible stainless steel-bodied 1960 Thunderbird. And all first this year was the introduction of the Ford Nationals Select display, showing Ken and his 1965 Mercury Comet, giving us a vehicle overview from Ford as a whole and what they have brought to the table for millions of people over many decades. There was the ever-popular auto cross ride-alongs, where people like you and me off the street can experience a thrilling, free-of-charge ride in a professionally driven Mustang by Gateway Classic Mustangs of Missouri. And we saw the Saturday Street Parade through downtown Carlisle, and just so much more. And one significant part of the 2015 Carlisle All Ford Nationals is the 50th anniversary of the GT350 Mustang. It's time now to go inside and take a closer look. Inside this amazing tent we have Dave. How are you, Dave?
I'm fantastic, Fletch. How are you doing?
Good, thank you, as always here at every Carlisle event.
I'm just great to be here. I think it's a fantastic day. We really have quite a few Ford fans here and many, many GT350 fans.
What's your thoughts so far on 2015?
Well, I think that the 2015 year bodes very well. You know, Ford has introduced another line, the GT350 itself. And as you can walk around and you look at the beautiful showcase we have here at Carlisle, there's quite a few GT350s, brand new 2015, and aren't they gorgeous? They're absolutely beautiful.
Now, Dave, what can you tell us about the history of the GT350? Why did it come about?
Well, it has quite a storied past. As we know, Carroll Shelby was a very infamous person and racer himself, commissioned with Ford the ability to build a fantastic car. You know, it evolved from racing back in 1965 with Mr. Chuck Cantwell also developing quite a series of cars. And of course, in 67, Ford got more involved in the car, but they continued to produce GT350s all the way to 1970. So we have quite a genre of cars. They're certainly limited in numbers, but we do think that the future bodes well for the marque. And they are fantastic cars, and they have wonderful, very glorious and loyal fans. So we're very happy to see you here too, Flitch, to represent this and show us and, just spend some time with us here.
Thank you, Dave. I mean, he certainly says the right words, doesn't he? Now, I need to find out the significance of the 350 now. Some people think it's cubic inches, some people think it's horsepower. What does the 350 actually mean?
Well, there's a little story behind the 350. Mr. Shelby was with Mr. Phil Remington at one point, so the story goes, and it's kind of a little bit of a legend at this point in time. And he asked the distances between a couple of buildings in Los Angeles. The early cars were produced in Los Angeles at the LAX airport. And Mr. Shelby asked Phil Remington, what's the distance from this building to that building? And the reply from Phil was, it's about 350 feet. Well, as legend says, that's where the GT350 name evolved from. Distance, who would imagine in such time?
That's unbelievable. Isn't that interesting? I'm amazed at the series of cars, the models, the makes, and how it all came about. I mean, I think it was the AMX Gremlin. It was designed on the back of a vomit bag on board an aircraft.
Exactly. It's amazing how things evolve and how things sell. But usually, I think with Ford and Mr. Shelby, they had a smart combination because it was pretty much build a fine race car, make the reputation, and a car will sell. And a mark is made. And who would have thought that 50 years later, as we celebrate the anniversary of the GT350, we have such a fantastic mark here.
Engine and driveline combinations through the GT350 range. Give us the rundown on that.
Well, all the early cars basically were four-speed cars. They basically evolved again from the racing program. And then in 1967, we started to see a further evolution in terms of the body style. But the early GT350s are quite a mark in that they had several different wheel combinations. Most of them ran a 389 gear ratio in the rear axle. And of course, the motor itself was a 289. Now, what Shelby did was he made some modifications to build a little more horsepower. He used a cast iron block with an aluminum intake, a special intake manifold. And also, hence, the word Cobra evolved in the marketing because the Cobra in and of itself kind of kicked Ferrari's butt a little bit here in Le Mans back in the day. So the motor itself is a 310 horse solid lifter cam, and it's a very stout motor, and it will whine pretty nice. So you can build high horsepower, very quick cars with a good gear ratio and a 4-speed. You're in good shape.
Dave, thank you so much for having a chat with us here, and a very special part of this year, 2015, with the 50th anniversary of the GT350. Thank you very much, Dave.
Indeed. Pleasure to see you, Fletch. Take care.
At every Carlisle event, there is the car corral. Now, call it depression or call it what you will, but the car of your dreams, or the one that you've been waiting a long time for, may be found under this roof here and on the grassed area outside. You can walk around for hours until your heart's content. And fingers crossed, you may just find that very car you've been waiting for. You are watching the 2015 Carlisle All Ford Nationals exclusive to Classic Restos here in Pennsylvania, United States of America. It's a big thanks to Shannon's Insurance, Penrite Oil, Hare and Forbes Machinery House, and Pace Farm Eggs. Back with more after this.
We've always had a few cars. They're all special. The T-Bird.
Oh, that's mine.
The Combi for when we want to get away. The XR8.
It's going to be a classic.
They're all insured with Shannon's,
We've also got Shannon's Home and Contents cover.
which helps protect our automotive collectibles, tools and memorabilia in the home and garage. If you're motoring enthusiasts like us, it's got to be.
Shannon's.
Shannon's, insurance for motoring enthusiasts. Call 13 46 46 for a quote.
In 1926, Australia's Penrite Oil Company was established. Almost 90 years of research, development and refining under the harsh Australian conditions has made Penrite Oil what it is today. Precision, performance, reliability and protection. Championship winning products. Trust Penrite.
If you need a new piece of equipment for your workshop, you need Hare and Forbes Machinery House. From a garage jack through to a lathe, Hare and Forbes has the range. And Hare and Forbes Machinery House are Australian owned, established since 1930. You will be greeted by friendly, helpful staff, and you can buy from anywhere online at machineryhouse.com.au. Hare and Forbes Machinery House. Find your closest store at machineryhouse.com.au. With me now, events manager for 2015 Carlisle All Ford Nationals, Ken Appel. How are you, Ken?
Great, Fletch. Welcome back to Carlisle. Look at the field. It's packed with cars. Couldn't be doing any better.
Over 3,000 Fords on the show field. Over 50,000 people through the gates. You've done it again. Now, last year was huge with the 50th anniversary of the Mustang. This Friday, which was usually a quieter day, I think was probably one of the busiest I've seen ever in my visits here.
Absolutely. We had over 2,700 cars in the field yesterday. That's incredible for a Friday. Absolutely incredible.
You've got a bit going on for 2015, Ken. First of all, congratulations for the 20th anniversary, 1995 to 2015 for Ford here for you guys, specifically as a Ford event. The 50th anniversary for the GT350 from 1965 to present day, and of course the 60th anniversary of the Thunderbird as well. You've got a bit going on out there.
Absolutely. And you can't forget the 10th anniversary of the Ford GT and the 30th anniversary of the Mercury. The clubs are really behind us for all these anniversaries, as well as just every enthusiast that comes through the gates. All 50,000 of them are Ford fans, and they're really supportive of the event.
Are you really happy with this year's show?
Oh, absolutely. Look at the field. It's packed. You can't find a blade of grass not used.
It all gets back to the field. And you're right about the blade of grass. There's no room for even a butt out there. I mean, figure of speech. It's like standing room only. You've certainly done it again, mate. Take me hat off to you. Now, there are 13 Carlisle events a year here in Pennsylvania. To find out the Carlisle event that suits you best, check out these guys at carlisleevents.com. And of course, the Ford, GM and Chrysler Nationals can be seen via a Fletch tour.
Absolutely, Fletch, and thanks for being here.
That's all right. Thank you very much, Ken. Again, mate, congratulations. I'll let you get back to it.
Yep, thank you, Fletch.
It's time now for a pretty car / performance car, and we have Brenda. Hello, Brenda.
Hello, Fletch.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Almost as good as this car here. I don't think anyone could be as fantastic as this. I'm speechless here. I can't find one rough edge to this vehicle. What's the story with it, Brenda?
Well, we found the car in 1999, and the guy originally would not sell it to us, but we waited around, and we got a phone call about 2 years later and said, we know where there's a car that you want, and it was this car.
I can't believe how many models the big three made. I mean, we've got a Starliner here, a 1961 Ford Starliner. And when you look at the car, as nice as it is, it's kind of like a top-end car to some degree, but then you've got the awesome 390 up front there. You look at the steel wheels, then it strikes you as being a performance car. It's a little bit of everything rolled into one, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. We, when we did the car, we did it as if someone bought it in 61 and kind of updated it and put the upgrades on it in the early 70s.
Yeah.
So we made it our own, put the 60s interior in it.
Yeah.
And we like the dog dish hubcaps.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Now you're talking. I love my steel wheels. It's almost to the point where, you could put a fat set of slicks on the back, put manufacturer's stickers down the side, super stock up on the glass and take it racing.
Yes, you can.
Let's start with the interior. Now, how did you go there with trim, trying to find all that?
Okay. Well, like I say, we picked the 60 interior just because we liked it better. It took us a year to get the fabric. We ordered it, and so it took a year to get the fabric. And we picked an upholsterer that we really, really liked.
And trusted.
Yeah, trusted. Yes, absolutely. And they did a really good job for us, and we did all the interior as far as the dash and that sort of thing.
Now, the engine, what have you done there with that beautiful 390? I know you got two 4-barrel carbs on top there. This is not a dumb question, but power comes on nicely?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Fletch, I don't know if you noticed the speedometer, but it's a 200-mile-an-hour speedometer. Certainly was not standard in the United States.
You should be hanging on at 200, wouldn't you?
But we got that out of Canada, and we had it recalibrated.
Brenda, thank you so much again for letting us feature this car at the 2015 Carlisle All Ford Nationals. This is a 10 out of 10 car. This is a concourse car in every way. From the grille up front, the chrome work, the paint, the wheels, interior, right through to the back. It's been a pleasure. Thank you, Brenda.
Thank you, Fletch.
In 1966 through to 1969, the GT40 won successfully at Le Mans. And in celebration in 2015 at the Carlisle All Ford Nationals, Building T has been decked out with these amazing cars. Around Building T, there are literally millions of dollars worth of these GT40s that were built in 2005 and 2006. They're powered by a supercharged 5.4 litre V8 engine at 550 horsepower. And if you're wondering where the GT40 came from, well, of course, GT standing for Grand Tourer, and the car at 40 inches tall from ground to the top of the roofline. And although European cars are highly successful on the racetracks, these cars were built to prove that Ford can stay ahead of the competition. You know, one thing that is often overlooked at a car event is the food. Each Carlisle event is so large and has to be well catered for. There are plenty to choose from, providing great food variety and reduced waiting time. Bill and Lance Miller, they insist on the finest food standard. Some are local restaurant owners, and cleanliness, well, it plays a huge part. At a Carlisle event, there are full-time crews keeping over 100 acres spotless at all times. See, it's the little things like this that help to make your Carlisle experience one to remember. Well, here we are, Carlisle, United States of America. Things don't get much better than a Carlisle event. See it on a Fletch tour. Have a look at this.
You deserve a Fletch tour. See the amazing Ford, GM and Chrysler Nationals at Carlisle events, along with museums and private collections in beautiful Pennsylvania, USA. Then it's the Motown city of Detroit and its region, taking in more die-hard stuff with incredible history. Rounding off with the Woodward Dream Cruise, the largest moving car cruise in the world.
The best part of coming here actually was having Fletch here.
We get picked up, we get dropped off.
Fletch is a wonderful tour guide.
I would just recommend a Fletch tour to anybody.
Go to classicrestos.com.au and click on the Fletch Tours icon for more information. Hope you're enjoying today's show. Back with more after this.
Every weekend around Australia, motoring enthusiasts get together to share their passion for cars and bikes. It's a passion that brings us together. All sorts of people, all sorts of cars and bikes. From the classics of today to the classics of tomorrow. At Shannon's, we understand enthusiasts. So when it comes to insurance, it's got to be Shannon's. Shannon's, insurance for motoring enthusiasts. Call 13 46 46 for a quote.
Penrite, Australian made, family owned and operated. Make premium quality engine and racing oils, warranty approved coolants, automatic transmission and manual gear oils, a complete range of engine and fuel additives, heavy duty and industrial products for every application. Visit penriteoil.com for more information. Penrite, Australian made for Australian conditions since 1926.
If you need a new piece of equipment for your workshop, you need Hare and Forbes Machinery House. Hare and Forbes Machinery House have showrooms around Australia and New Zealand that will have you browsing for hours. See the largest range of industrial and workshop DIY tools. You will be greeted by friendly, helpful staff, and you can buy from anywhere online at machineryhouse.com.au. Hare and Forbes Machinery House. Find your closest store at machineryhouse.com.au. How cool is this dude here? We got Dan. He's got a 1955 ranch wagon, Airstream van. I tell you, it doesn't get much cooler than this, Dan.
Well, I hate to sell it. I'd be homeless.
So this is everything you got?
No, just about. No.
This is amazing, isn't it? Being in the United States of America, I mean, the Airstream van on the back of this ranch wagon. I mean, it doesn't get much more American than this, does it?
No, there's a lot of people like the nostalgia. They can think about when they were young. They went went on picnics with a wagon or went camping with a trailer. So,
Dan, what can you tell us about the ranch wagon?
It's mostly stock. The motor's all stock. It's a 272 two-barrel, 3-speed standard with overdrive. It's geared very low because of the wagons with the overdrives. Yeah. It's geared for 27 to 1, so there's no problem slipping the clutch or anything, pulling the trailer, and it does fine.
So it's 50 miles an hour all day?
Oh, better than that. Yeah. Usually 60, usually 60. And I mean, the hills of Pennsylvania here, I can't claim to be the first guy to the top of the hill, but I'm not going to claim to be the first guy to the gas station either, because I get great mileage.
So Dan, also as well as a part of the ranch wagon, you've got your window-mounted air conditioner system.
Yeah, this is an evaporative cooler. You fill a reservoir with water. You pull a lamp cord behind here to.
You pull a lamp cord.
Pull a lamp cord. Drop the wick in the water here. Drive down the road. Your passengers gives your passenger a job, so maybe she doesn't talk to you quite as much.
Okay, now the Airstream van out back, how cool is that? That is just a unique thing. I think the only one here at this Carlisle event, which is huge, over 3,000 vehicles here in one Airstream. What can you tell us about that, Dan?
I've had that since 2000. The inside is pretty much original. I put a piece of vinyl on the floor, changed the refrigerator, put a little stainless to replace woodwork. Yeah. I'm glad I've got it. I don't like polishing it. Yeah. It's a dirty, filthy job. If you like coal mining, maybe you'd like coal mining with lots of dust. Why that's the job for you, because you have to do it on the warmest days. That's when it works the best. So.
You come out cleaning that, and you got all black all over your face. You just see your two eyes, right?
Right.
Yeah. Well, Dan, great catching up with you. I mean, there's no doubt about this guy. He's one of the coolest kids on the block. Love the ranch wagon, love the Airstream van. Well done, Dan, well done.
Okay, thank you. Take care, Fletch.
Time for a pretty car on today's show now, but not only pretty, but a bit of style and sophistication as well. I love the shape of these cars. Welcome to today's show, Steve.
Thank you very much, Fletch.
1964, Mercury, Montclair, Marauder. What actually is it?
Well, this is the second year, basically, of Mercury's Marauder. The first year it came out, the Marauder was a 63.5, came out as a two-door. What makes the car a Marauder for years 63, 64, and 65 is the sports roof, or the fastback roof, as many people like to call it. So any car you see with this roof, and it's a Mercury, you can call it a Marauder. Mm-hmm.
It's awesome, isn't it, to have a car that's actually got three names?
Yes, that's unusual. Mercury like to fool around with names and make sure that the names are in the proper order, and they like doing that sort of thing.
Steve, they might have fooled around with names, but they didn't fool around with style. This is a beautiful shaped car. There's no doubt about it. We're talking a full-size American car here, two-door. The blue, the contrasting with the shiny stuff, the stainless, the embellishments on the side of the fender, the proud Marauder plaque there on the name badge on the front of the fender there with the flag. It's just style all the way, isn't it?
Yes, it is, and that's why we liked it. And probably, I'm quite sure that people saw it in the showroom or on the street, and they enjoyed it also, and probably why they purchased such a car also.
Steve, what powers it up front?
It is a 390 two-barrel, which is the base motor for this trim level of Marauder.
Yeah. Rear ratio in the diff, is it geared fairly well for the freeway?
It is. It's 3-to-1. It's an open rear, so only one wheel is driven, and it drives quite nice, and actually the fuel mileage is pretty good.
Yeah. 3-1 rear, that's pretty good for a big car. I mean, that would be nice off the line and good around the 70, 75 miles an hour, not a problem all day long.
Yes, that's correct. It's very much a highway car, and it takes a little getting used to if you haven't driven it around town or on the side roads, but you do get used to it, and it rides very, very nicely.
Steve, I don't want to make this sound like a stupid question, but has the car been restored?
Well, I call it refurbished, because to me, restoring a car, you take every nut and bolt off of the car and you restore it like new. This was not. We did a big refurbishing on this car. The whole thing was disassembled at home. I sent it out for paint and had the motor reassembled. So it's a pretty good refurbishing and for the car.
That's your typical classic resto, isn't it? Where a guy does most of it at home, puts it back together again. Steve, thanks for showing it off. It makes you speechless. It's a beautiful car. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, and asking me, Fletch, to be on the show.
You're welcome. Thanks, Steve.
Very much.
Well, I hope you've really enjoyed the last 2 episodes of Classic Restos featuring the 2015 Carlisle All Ford Nationals. The next Carlisle event that you'll see on the show is the All GM Nationals, coming very, very soon. There's no doubt about it when you experience a Carlisle event. It really is about the cars, the people, and the excitement. In the meantime, classicrestos.com.au is the website that you need for the DVD boxed sets of the show, Classic Restos merchandise, contact information on joining us on a Fletch tour in 2016, and of course the major sponsors and advertisers as well. As I say at the end of every show, until next week, no matter where you're watching from, please ride and drive safe. I'm Fletch, signing off from Carlisle, Pennsylvania, United States of America. Thank you for watching. You can like and follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/ClassicRestosTV and watch catch-up episodes at shannons.com.au. Classic Restos is proudly brought to you by Shannons Insurance, Penrite Oil, Hare and Forbes Machinery House, and Pace Farm Eggs.